Hello, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz. I am the Femme Genius, and today we're diving into something truly magical, and that is the energies of the upcoming full moon in Aquarius. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like every full moon, I hear astrologers, psychics, channelers talking about like, this is the one where your manifestations are going to be more potent than ever. Like, this is so important. And it gets me thinking, like, is it truly every single one is getting more and more powerful? Or is it more that we're becoming aware of our power of manifestation, of checking in with the rhythms of life, of diving into this energy and really helping it work for us as opposed to just kind of flitting through life and being like, I don't know how anything goes. So it feels like this full moon is for sure an invitation to start steering your path again, start steering your way through life as opposed to feeling like you're being jostled around. So I want to start with that. This is also this beautiful energy of Aquarius coming in under this full moon. The full moon illuminates energy, and Aquarius is this gorgeous air sign that really asks us, how are you connected with your intuition? How are you connected with your channel? How are you connected with the thoughts that spark something in you? What some people call your big magic. Shout out to Elizabeth Gilbert. But how are you connected with your inspiration, your deeper intelligence, your divine intuition, your insert another IN word here. IN ends with TION. Active, wonderful, great. But that's really what this energy of the full moon in Aquarius is all about. And I've heard a lot of people being like, this is going to be super tough. And I can agree with that because there's a lot going on astrologically, but I feel like the basis of that difficulty or that toughness is actually that so many of us are doing the inner work, but when it comes up against that inner voice, that inner knowing, that higher self that is here to engage with us, to guide us, to help us, to sift through all the stuff that comes into our psyche on a daily basis, that connecting with that intuition and actually acting on it, that's the tough piece. And so I think that this full moon in Aquarius is going to be bringing a lot of that to the surface. Where am I allowing my good ideas to sit on the cutting room floor? Where am I stifling my creativity because it doesn't fully make sense to me yet? And how am I preventing myself from being on a path of co-creation with my own energy and the energy of the world around me because of fear or limiting beliefs or stagnation that's come in before? So it feels like these are bigger philosophical questions, but they're also the ones that if you can actually sit with them and kind of crack the code on them, you're going to get big results. You're going to get big answers. And there may be bigger calls to action coming from within saying like, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard the answer for myself. Liz, go in this direction. Liz, listen here. Liz, say the thing, have the hard conversation. And I've just been like, I mean, I know, but I'm not fully ready for that yet. My human, myself, I'm not fully ready to step into that level of taking psychic responsibility for myself or taking energetic responsibility for my results or just being able to listen to my heart and act on it. And when we can take these steps, when we do these things, we are sending this really amazing internal feedback loop into overdrive where we stop looking for what's it called? Acknowledgement or validation from the outside world, and we start seeking it from within. How am I showing up in my truth? How am I grounding in my knowing with my messaging, with my actions, with the way that I'm moving through life? So that's kind of this general energy of this full moon that I've been tapping into. And I just welcome you to either tap in there with me or just, offering yourself, inviting yourself into a deeper conversation about what is this full moon? What does this cycle of life feel like for me? What is the messaging coming through for me? What am I thinking about? Where are my thoughts getting stuck? Where's my voice getting stuck in my throat? because it feels like there are some shifts that are ready to happen there. So with all of that said, in today's video, I'm offering a mini tarot reading for each zodiac sign. I started this last month. I really loved it with the full moon in Capricorn, and I'm trying it out again. So there's going to be about a 5-minute reading for each zodiac sign. You can find the timestamp for your zodiac sign in the description box below if you want to skip ahead. I highly recommend, in any kind of reading, watching for your sun, moon, rising. If your Venus and Mercury also resonate with you, checking those out. You can cross watch for someone whose sign you want to look into. And you can just watch all of the readings as well as you're doing. I love to watch it when I'm walking in the woods or listening in the woods or cleaning my house, and just take what resonates, leave the rest. But I feel like just having that sun, moon, and rising, that's 15 minutes out of your day, it can really help you anchor in some energies, and it can start spurring the thought process into something that is magical, but also grounded. So that's my intention with these. You can get access to my monthly tarot scopes. Like if this resonates for you, I do a longer reading for each sign. Those are my monthly tarot scopes. You can find the link for that in the description box below, or you can book a one-on-one session with me. I love connecting with people either in my pre-recorded readings or in my hour-long Zoom readings. We have a really amazing time. We're going deep. We're getting actionable steps. We're identifying goals. The whole shebang. You can find all that information in the description box below. I also have a monthly membership where you can get access to all of that, plus some amazing events throughout the month. You can check that out too. So we're going to be looking at the themes you should be paying attention to, the energies you should embrace, potential challenges that might arise during this season. My goal is to provide you with guidance, clarity, and maybe even a little nudge to trust your intuition more deeply. I got sharp elbows though, so I'll just say that my nudges can be felt a little harder than most. Sorry, not sorry. So before we dive into the readings, I just want to take a moment to remind you that tarot is a tool. It's not for future prediction. I'm tapping into energies using my channel, using my intuition, but this is supposed to bring things up for you for insight, reflection, and then application in your life. It may resonate with you, it may not, but we're looking for gaining a deeper understanding of our inner landscape. So I'm not here to tell you to get back with your ex. I'm a big believer that if something went down and there was a split, that happened for a reason. And remember that redirection is protection in life. So with that said, we're going to get kicked off with Aries, the cardinal fire sign that kicks off the zodiac year. And Aries, I'm so excited to have you here. I love working with fire energy. So we're going to ask for Aries what they need to know for this full moon in Aquarius, what can help them, what insights are going to be. All right. I'm already talking about fire energy, and I'm seeing things really coming up very fiery for you. So I would also recommend, like, if you're, this is just popping up in my head, if there's any chance for you to like submerge in some water or to get near some water under this full moon in Aquarius, it just feels like it might balance you out a bit. Feels like things have been running a bit hot lately, almost like an engine or a motor that is, you know, it's equipped and it's designed to like produce and be at top speed. But when it's just running hot all the time, it can make things less efficient. Number one, it's not designed to do that day in, day out. It needs a little bit of a rest period to shut off. There's also this feeling of, you may have been noticing that people around you are responding to you differently, either with worry or kind of keeping an arm's length. And it feels like they're almost responding. Like, imagine that you have, I don't know why it's coming in like this, like a food processor sitting on your counter, and you've got it whirring around, right? And you're processing something, and that blade just keeps spinning. And then after a while, you're like, it kind of smells like a wire is burning out, or kind of like the sound that this machine is making is not good. I should probably turn it off. It almost feels like the people around you, I'm getting pulled into a work situation, so I'll say this might be work related, but it just feels like you may have noticed that the people around you are proceeding with caution, or almost like they're questioning you a lot more. Like, are you feeling okay? Are you like making sure that you're not burning out, because it's like you're that food processor where like, yeah, you can go all day long and like you're built for that, but it just feels like there hasn't been a break in a while from the stress, from the thinking, from the enacting, from the strategizing, from the trying to figure it out. And with you, your strategy comes so much more naturally when you're in motion. And I don't mean spinning like a food processor. I mean like walking, moving, dancing, getting your hands dirty, being in a garden, painting, whatever it is. I'm being really pulled into the work through the hands and moving energy through your hands, as opposed to sitting and trying to think your way through. This is spinning your wheels. And I'm saying all of this because we started with the Emperor, which is you. You see that ram there sitting on the throne. We have the ram, we have the Emperor. You popped right out into your reading. As I was talking about, like, I love this fire energy. And then your sister sign, Sagittarius, Temperance, popped out right after you. So I'm talking about this fire energy, and then I start seeing these cards come out. And so it feels like there is this deep acknowledgement of your fire, of that passion, of your ability to strategize, but also to get other people on board with your strategy, with your ideas, with your knowing. And that's amazing. And it feels like you can bring in people who have similar energy, who can help get things across the finish line. But right now it feels like there's a surrender. 7 of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. There's this surrender energy being called through. That there's something like you do have staying power, but something is just taking time. It's ripening on the vine. That's the 7 of Pentacles. Like, you've planted the seeds, you are doing the growing, you are taking the steps, but there's also that element that's uncontrollable, that time and that patience piece that you're really being called into. You're really being called to focus on that and to really relax into it. And it feels like this full moon in Aquarius may be bringing up ideas of what you can do, like getting a hobby, spending some time outdoors, spending some time with friends, socializing more, and not necessarily centering it around work, not making it into work, not making it another chore, but really stepping into that flow again, the flow of ideas, the suggestions that light you up. I also got the Tower, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Lovers. So it feels like something is going to be moved away. Like, during this surrender period, something that's not serving you may start moving away. It may feel like a coupling, a partnership. I don't really see divorce. Again, like, this feels much more career or business related. But it feels like maybe someone you collaborated with, or who you thought it would be a really good idea to collaborate with, you see it through a different lens. And they may have been the right choice for a while, but where you're at now and where you're sitting now, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be beneficial. So it might be time to move on. So just stay open to those insights, and also giving yourself some rest, and just see what starts to kind of blossom once you freed up your energy from being in worry to being in allowance and acceptance. So I hope this helps, Aries. Sending you a lot of love. And then we're going to move straight into Taurus. Hello, Taurus. Oi! They're just flying out for you. I thought I was going to switch decks, but apparently I'm not. So we've got Taurus for this full moon in Aquarius. Let's see. All right. It feels like you've been kind of racking your brain on something for a while. We have this 4 of Cups and this 7 of Swords coming out. And when I see the 2 of these coming out together, it feels like you've really been seeking, searching, trying to find the thing. And you've got such beautiful Venus energy, where it's like beauty is just such a magnet for you. The beauty of life, the beauty of relationships, the beauty of building something solid on a good foundation. And so I can understand that when you're seeking, when you're in this energy of trying to find the next thing, that it can feel deeply unsettling when things feel ungrounded and up in the air. And you might be feeling called into like needing to juggle a bunch of things. And it just feels like under this full moon in Aquarius, you're being told, it's okay to put that down. It's okay not to be the court jester. It's okay not to be entertaining every question. It's okay that other people don't understand what you're doing, because the right ones do. And it just feels like you've been looking for this thing that's going to be very fulfilling, but it's coming in that that's a fallacy, because you already are the one who provides your fulfillment. And I can hear you saying like, okay, Liz, like, all right, fine. Like where I feel like I'm sounding like a motivational like desk calendar, you know, where you pull off the page every day and like the next day there's a motivational quote where I'm like, seek not from outside of you. You are the true treasure. You are the bringer of fulfillment. But it's true. It's true. And I just feel like I keep hearing like, baby, it's you. That song by the Beatles, or it was probably by someone else, but I'm thinking of the Beatles song. And like when they played in the Cavern Club in Liverpool, like it's taking me back to like early 60s time. So it feels like there might be something about like revisiting, I don't know, revisiting an origin story, revisiting something early on where you hadn't fully kind of perfected the craft or perfected your messaging. And I'm using the word perfected without perfectionism. I mean, like where you really hone in on it and it feels aligned and it feels right. There's something about, I keep wanting to point to my mouth. There's something around the way that you express yourself, the way that you talk about yourself, the way that you allow energy to flow through you, especially through your throat. I don't know if you've been experiencing some like that kind of energy in your throat. I keep feeling like I want to clear my throat with you. There's something around like, or cleaning the pipes. Like I see like putting a pipe cleaner through a straw to like clean out the middle of it. Something like that, because there's a lot of abundance, a lot of emotional fulfillment that wants to come through. And I don't necessarily feel like it's blocked. I just feel like it's hiding in plain sight. And so there's something around like clearing out, by clearing out the throat, by clearing out the messaging, by clearing out the origin stories a little bit, or checking in with them, or telling your origin story in a way that feels so alive, like so authentic to you. It just feels like it's going to open some things up, and suddenly you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there it is. You've been here the whole time. This is the Knight of Cups, or sorry, the Page of Cups and the Nine of Cups. So it's like that abundance, that resource, that flow, that energy, that emotion. It's right there. It's waiting just to be seen, touched, drawn in. And then we've got Ace of Cups and Death. Just remember that when something comes in, something needs to go out, you know, or something needs to go out before you can bring something in. So this isn't a time of like acquiring or pulling a lot in. It's about understanding that there's this cycle going on and that the emotions are looking for a place to land. So give them that channel through which to come through. And then the emotional fulfillment is going to really kick some things into high gear. It's like ideas start to solidify, messaging starts to come through very clearly, and emotions are felt much more deeply. So take that as you will. Sending you a lot of love, Taurus. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. And now we're at Gemini. Welcome, Gemini. I'm so excited for your reading. I say this to every sign, but I always mean it. And love you, mean it. So what do we have for Gemini for this full moon in Aquarius? Let's see. Oh, okay. There's always a bunch of stuff that wants to come out. All right. Gemini, we've got a lot of movement, and it feels like you're really being asked to step into your feminine energy under this full moon. And I don't talk about feminine and masculine energy in this like gendered type of way that's like women are this, men are this. I'm talking about it in that Jungian way where we can identify certain energies as like we're putting a label on them. It's masculine, it's strategizing, it's moving, it's action, it's feminine, it's flowing, it's emotional, it's inward. So I'm not talking about male and female. I'm talking about really getting into that power of flow. I had a meeting yesterday with this extremely powerful feminine energy. And it's this woman in her early 60s who was just such a wise, grounded soul. So much strength there. It was so empowering to be in that energy. And so I also want to highlight that quality of it is that it can be so powerful, it can be so grounding, strong, and like don't F with me type energy, but it also has like this layer of love around it that I feel like you've been seeking for a while. So invite yourself in, give yourself permission to play with the energy of um I don't know if I want to call it soft strength, but strength that comes from the heart, strength that comes from the whispers and the quiet, like almost dropping the volume of your voice. You know how they say that that can be like a negotiation tactic, is if you're sitting in a meeting and you just drop the volume of your voice, it forces people to like lean in and listen a little bit more. It's like this type of energy is coming through for you. So I'm going to start there and just say that the Hierophant and the Six of Pentacles balance or come in immediately. And Six of Pentacles is a big balance card for me. The Hierophant can talk about what we've been taught about ourselves, about the world around us, where we fit into it, what we need to do, what's right, what's wrong, what it looks like to be in power, what it looks like to be considered weak. And it feels like you're being given this opportunity under this full moon to really challenge the paradigms that you've been taught. So again, like maybe this is a time to really play with what it looks like to be in business or be in a career or be in leadership or be in an executive role. And does it look like a closed fist, or does it look like an open hand? Giving an open hand and being willing to receive into that open hand. So it feels like opening the fist. Perhaps there's going to be opportunities coming in. And I want to just deviate for a second about these opportunities, because I think a lot of times when we talk about like opportunities, we're thinking that it's just like, yay, party time, this is going to be awesome. And I'm not saying that it won't. However, when we're being given growth opportunities, it's usually coming in the form of having to question a way that we show up in the world or question a deeply held belief based on what's going on around us. So I don't necessarily think that this is going to be what other people would consider to be smooth sailing. It feels like there is some deeper work involved with this full moon energy for you. And it feels like those opportunities coming in, it may be tough conversations. It may be setting stricter boundaries. It may be getting more clear on what you want or what's acceptable for you or what's not. And usually we don't kind of go to the mattresses with that unless we're being challenged, unless we're feeling like, I actually can't do it this way anymore, or I can't engage with you in this way anymore. So I just want to highlight, I'm not saying something bad's going to come up, but we usually don't shift energy without being challenged, without the status quo of our lives being challenged in some way. So I don't want to scare you, but it just feels like there's going to be this call to balance, this call into moving into your feminine, moving into a deeper strength that comes from a different place than just like shouting and like demanding. We've got the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. So this is like being in that flow, being in that strong energy with your mind and your passion. So this may be around the things that really light you up. So this, if you're an entrepreneur, it could be your business. If you are someone who engages in a very specific niche hobby, like that type of energy is coming through. So it's what you really care about, what you put a lot of your energy into. I don't feel like this is relationships though. Of course, relationships are going to be a part of it, but it doesn't feel like you're being asked to look at relationship roles right now. Three of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, or Eight of Swords. It also feels like it's re-examining how like working with others feels like it either opens or limits you. So just staying aware of that. But Gemini, I'm sending you a lot of love. I hope that this is helpful, and I hope it gives you like some things to kind of anchor into. So if you do have, you know, conflict or challenges popping up, you feel like you don't get swept up into a spiral, which can sometimes happen. So just knowing like, oh, this is giving me an opportunity to make some shifts. So I hope that that's helpful. I will talk to you soon, Gemini. Okay, Cancer, welcome to your reading. We're just going to start pulling the cards for Cancer. They're already popping out. So Cancer, what do we have for you? All right, we've got you. This is so cool because you just popped out right in the front of your reading, and I'm going to show you in a second. So the Chariot popped out, and this is your card in the Major Arcana. This is very cool to me, and the reason I was like, oh, is like it always feels good when someone's energy comes into their own reading, but also that when we started with Aries Emperor energy came up right in the beginning of their reading too. So I'm getting a lot of this energy coming through for a lot of these signs where, and especially the cardinal signs, where we're talking about like, you are the center of this energy for yourself. This is not about like looking at what everyone around you is doing or who's pissing you off or like who you need to collaborate with. This is so much more the energy of what is it that you need? Where do you find yourself? How do you orient yourself within your energy? What is it that you want? How is it that you're listening to your intuition and the things that you need? So, and it almost feels like there's a shift in perspective or perception that's on offer here, where it's almost like you've been in like a time and you've been in a place or you've been in like an energetic setting before, and you were like, this is how I remember it and this is how I anticipate that it'll go. And then it's like you're getting there again right now, and you're meeting it and being like, I mean, I was here before. I was doing this with you before, but this feels very different. It's almost like you can't orient yourself into what you normally would have experienced with this. I hope that's making sense. It's like coming through. This is the way it's coming through for me, is that I visited Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, like 15 years ago. And I had this perception in my head of what it looked like when we parked the car and where the visitor center was and like how we got on the trail and what we did. And then when I went back last November, it's like I was looking for that place where we parked so I could almost reorient myself to where we were. And I just didn't see it. And I was like, surely in 15 years, like they haven't fully remapped out the whole city or the whole little village like that's 300 years old. But I just it was almost like my brain was seeking to like find that point of origin so then I could reorient myself, and I just couldn't find it. It's like I had to make a new memory. I had to make a new brain map. I had to orient myself in a different way. And like, so that's why I'm saying that, because it feels almost like you're finding yourself back in this situation where you're like, oh, I have an understanding of how this should go or how I get on the path or how I do this. And it's like you're getting there and you're like, but I can't find that origin point. It's because you've grown. It's because like that origin point may still exist, but that's not how you're going to orient yourself this time. So that's coming through immediately with this Chariot. You have the Nine of Pentacles, Judgment, Five of Wands, and the King of Swords. And so it does feel like there's going to be this like relearning of how to navigate these conversations, these thoughts. There's something here around like you can feel the abundance or like the flow of ideas or a new job or some type of like access to resources that are based on your skills. A lot of these readings feel like they have to do with job. This, I feel like it's almost like someone coming back in and asking you to do a job that you've done before, or it's like stepping into a partnership with someone that you worked with in the past. And again, like you're looking for that point of recognition from which to build. And it just feels like it doesn't exist anymore because you're not that same person, this Judgment. And so release the judgment of what this needs to look like or the form it needs to take, because that doesn't feel like it's relevant to you anymore. That using old paradigms are not going to give you new opportunities, new answers. And it feels like this full moon in Aquarius is really bringing up this energy of, I almost said aviation, might be bringing up an energy of aviation, taking off, taking flight, but it's also this energy of innovation. That's the word I was looking for. And again, it may bring up some challenge, but the King of Swords, you have the smarts, you have the background, you have the knowledge, you have the insight to make this a success. Just stop looking for it to look the same way that it did before and allow it to show you, again, show you your growth, show you how you've evolved since then. So I'm sending you a lot of love, Cancer, wishing you all the best, and I will see you soon. So now we're moving on to Leo. Leo, I'm so excited for you because this full moon is happening in your season. And we're just going, this is also a seasonal blue moon, which feels exciting. I haven't mentioned that to any of the other signs, but I'm excited for you with that. All right, fewer cards. All right, we got it. So this full moon in Aquarius is really bringing you into this energy of what helps you feel satisfied, Leo. It feels like it's been a long time since you've actually felt satisfied, felt really freaking good. It's almost like I have this nervous, like we're just going to do that for a second. So if you want to do it with me, like this, where I feel a little crazy and I feel like my fingers just want to vibrate and my arms get really tense and I want to lock my jaw, where it's like everything's great, everything's awesome, but there's this nervous pitch running underneath it. Almost like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you're looking for something to be upset about because, you know, it can't always be good. It can't all be good. And it feels like this full moon in Aquarius is really like you have two choices. You have infinite choices, but this is what's coming through. You have two choices. You can either work through your shit and get to the point that you can actually appreciate all of the goodness in your life. Because what the heck are you doing all this for if you can't actually appreciate the goodness? Or you can continue with this nervousness and then start watching all of these good things, all of these opportunities, relationships, collaborations, momentum, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, start to crumble and move away. Because like I'm hearing someone being like, because I'm sick of it. It's like this frustrated mother energy is coming in. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of providing for you, making all the meals, and you never are grateful. It's always, you know, I could make your favorite meal and you're going to tell me it's too cold, it's too hot, it doesn't taste like it did last time. Blah, 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 blah. You expected something different. I can fill your closet with clothes. I can get you the newest shoes. I can, send you traveling. You're going to find something to be pissed off about. Like, I can give you everything you want, put you on every team you want, and you're just still not going to be happy because you aren't a happy person. And it feels like this full moon in Aquarius is really a reckoning point. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to feel fulfilled? Can you let go of the old stories around what that looks like, how it comes through for you, how you become deserving of this, how nothing ever really lasts, how people don't understand you, how it's everyone else's fault? It's a very young, immature energy. And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I'm just describing the way that this scene is coming in. And it's like, it is time. And this full moon is going to illuminate all of this for you. Where are you being a Debbie Downer? Where are you being called into being a little bit more appreciative of all of this work you've done, of this life you've created? You didn't just end up here. You didn't just get stuck here, unless you're 18 or under. But if you're 18 or over, you have got to take some responsibility for your happiness. If everybody pisses you off, guess what? It's not everybody else. And maybe you are surrounded by people who piss you off. But then it's time for you to get clear on, this does not serve me. All of these people are pissing me off. I've got to make different choices around my friends, my colleagues, my community. Because surprisingly, what's coming in for you, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I didn't even fully look at them. You've got the 10 of Cups, deep emotional fulfillment. You have the Page of Wands. The passion wants to come in. It wants to come in the energy of deep emotional fulfillment. The universe wants to meet you. The universe wants to match your freak. The universe wants to meet you at the juncture of satisfaction and happiness. That's in your nature. And the universe keeps going like, what the heck is going on with Leo? Why are you not happy? Okay, let's send in the clowns and see if that's going to do it. We got the King of Cups. Again, another iteration of emotional mastery, mastering the flow, learning when it's time, knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, emotionally, relationally, community-wise. The Knight of Wands, taking action, inspired action. And then the Knight of Cups, taking action based on your heart. It's taking action, but not at breakneck speed. It's believing in the depth of your emotions, of your experience, of what's possible for you. And all these, it's like kings, pages, knights. You know, receive the messaging, receive the call to action. Let yourself step into a deeper level of mastery instead of getting stuck in the stories. I'm sending you a lot of love, Leo. I hope that's helpful. It went on a totally different trajectory than I thought it would, but sending you a lot of love under this full moon in Aquarius. And now we are stepping into Virgo. Hey, Virgo. I hope you're doing well. I just read the Riot Act to Leo, so I hope that this goes well for you. I'm just going to take a quick sip. I haven't had a sip in whatever, 36 minutes. Okay. Also, I love that my intention, so I'm going to talk about this, Virgo, too. My intention with these readings was to do 5-minute readings. And like, I tried to stay within 5 minutes for the first couple readings, and now they're just going as long as they need to. So I feel like that's also a message for you that I'm bringing it up right now, that things are going to take the time they take. And so don't limit yourself this month, under this full moon in Aquarius. It feels like if you've been really rigid on timelines, really rigid on the timing of details coming into fruition, or things should only take a certain amount of time, it feels like this full moon is really going to illuminate where you've held these beliefs that aren't actually based in reality. So it may feel like it's a bit challenging because you're being pushed into reevaluating, like, there are delays happening, or things are coming sooner than expected. So like, really play with the energy of how you're placing expectation on timelines. This, like, the couple things that popped in my head, it's like project management and being like, okay, we've got a delivery date of X, and you know, we just blew right past that and nobody gave me any forewarning or advanced communication that this was, because then I could have managed it better. Or it's like a baby coming early where like you expected it to come at a certain date and you're like, we don't have everything ready. And it's like, well, what are you going to cross your legs? Like, it's coming. And so there's something like this where it feels like there's a timing shift that's out of your control. So you're just being asked to be flexible with this. And the more that you can kind of like roll with it and be in the flow, the easier it's going to be. I mean, that's just good sense, but let's see what else we have here for you. We've got a couple of sevens coming up. Sevens to me are expansion. This may also be like 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years, seventh times the charm, seventh heaven. Like, all of these things are popping up in my head, but seven really seems to be like this expansion of our view of the world, or our view of what we're capable of. And so that may be shifting, where it may come in the form when we're being asked to expand our vision of something, or our understanding of something, or our alignment with something. It can sometimes come in the form of what looks like the opposite, where it feels like something's being limited or a door is closing. And it may seem counterintuitive to say, oh, that means that I'm expanding. But it really is, because it's inviting you into creative thinking. It's inviting you into having to really show yourself and show the world what you're made of, that you can reground after a big pivot. You can watch something burn to the ground and be like, okay, there's still value in these ashes. There's still value in the rubble. And so there's something here around really reminding yourself that you are the one who makes the decisions in your life based on, yeah, there may be outside circumstances, but it's happening for you instead of against you. So Five of Wands came out. That's why I'm talking about this energy of redirect or learning how to do something new, learning how to adapt to the environment a bit. Seven of Swords gives me a similar message here. Learning when it's time to go, not lying to yourself, really seeing the truth of what's being presented to you, looking deeper than the surface level stuff, which I know you're really good at. So I don't feel like, oh, this is going to be really hard for you. I think it's just bringing that awareness and attuning your awareness to, I'm really being given the opportunity to see the truth in many different ways. I'm being given the opportunity to view this from a different angle, to take a different life lesson out of it and apply it. This is not the time for self-deception. Oh, like I could just, this isn't my fault. This isn't, floundering is not a good look on you. It's not something that you thrive in. It's not, you are methodical. You meet the challenge and you set a new course. So definitely let yourself do that. It feels like this, by doing that, it's going to open Seven of Cups, a lot of choices for you. All of them are not necessarily aligned. Move toward what is magnetizing you. Move toward the energy that's actually helpful for you. Move toward the energy that feels like it's nourishing, like you're going to learn something, because we can learn the challenges, the lessons, they come in so many different ways, but there are usually those choices of like, do you want to learn this the easy way or do you want to learn this the hard way? And so you get to choose. I would probably go the easy route this time because it feels like as we move into your season, there's going to be a lot kind of coming up for questioning this or this. What do you want? That's funny because when I just did that, I imagined that like by the end of your season, we're moving into this, like high five. So you're undergoing a lot of this. Nine of Swords. You're waking up from old ways of doing things, old paradigms, old mindsets. And so it feels kind of like that kicks off with this full moon in Aquarius, and then it takes us all the way into Libra season for you. So the next like 5 to 6 weeks of your life feels like you're going to have a lot of opportunities to look at how you pivot, how you deal with things. And so just knowing that that is the lesson that's coming through, knowing that the lesson is the lesson and how you're learning the lessons, say that 10 times fast, that's the name of the game. So it's a lot easier to figure out how to play if you know what game you're playing. And so just keeping that in mind, that like it's like pivotorium, like that there's pivots coming, but they're all lessons. So you get to decide how you want to step into them. So I hope that that's helpful, Virgo. Sending you a lot of love under the full moon in Aquarius. Now we're here. We're here with you, Libra. And I'm so excited about doing this reading for you for the full moon in Aquarius, because Aquarius is your sister sign. And so, there are certain things that we can learn from our sisters. I haven't brought this up with Gemini, so it's just between us, okay? Gemini is also your sister sign. But it just feels like there's some type of revisiting a relationship with someone who's like a sister to you, or someone who is like a close relation, or someone who, you don't always have to agree, but there's a bond that holds you together, because it feels like there is a lot of, I'm getting chills all down my right side. There's a lot of wisdom waiting there for you right now. And it feels like there's this opportunity under the full moon in Aquarius. Either a phone call comes in or a text message comes in, or you're being called to reach out. Something with this sister energy. I also know that my sister is a Libra, so listen, it's just a coincidence. Anyway, so let's see what this energy wants to tell you, Libra. We've got Two of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and the Lovers. I love this. And the Knight of Wands. Okay, we needed one more just to balance it out. So I'm just going to go into something really fast, because we have this Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles coming out. And I love a progression in a reading, because as we move into this progression, this progressive energy, I love that we move from this cat into this tiger, where it's like really coming in and saying, trust the decisions, trust the ideas that are coming up for you, because there's something about like this being this really deep growth period that's going to help you understand others better, work with them better, collaborate with people better. And it kind of feels like starting with that sister energy, because that energy, when you start there and you practice this communication, you actually get to kind of work out the kinks in a very safe way. So it feels like if you're undergoing some tension with someone who's very close to you under this full moon in Aquarius, just shift your perception a little bit and view it as, oh, this is giving me that kind of training ground to play with. What if I chose to express myself this way this time? What if I chose to share my ideas in this way? Let me just see. Like, this is new for me, but I also trust this person. And I know that, like, even if I get it wrong, we're going to be good. Like, I can only screw it up so far, and they're still going to be here. There's something around this. Allowing yourself to create a new cycle, create a new way of doing it, maturing, evolving, and it's going to help you in the way you work with others, whether that's in a job, in a team, in a family unit. Maybe you're the parent and you're just like, I don't know how to do this anymore. Maybe you're the child in a strange dynamic. It just feels like there's a lot shifting in the way that you're communicating with people. So use this. There's a lot of maturing. And Eight of Swords and the Lovers came out. These are both Gemini cards, and I mentioned Gemini in the beginning of your reading, which is interesting, where I was like, that's your sister too, but you don't have to talk to her. It's funny that Gemini was like, you do have to talk to me. Because Eight of Swords really pulls us into, where have we created our own prisons, our own limitations that are just perceptions, that are like, I can't do that, or I can't say that, or I can't show up in that way, or I'm not a leader, I'm not this. And it's just boxed you in to the point, it's like you've painted the floor of a room and suddenly you're like, I'm in a corner. I've got a choice to make. The Lovers comes in and it's like, trust your inner wisdom. Trust that guidance. Trust that this is the time. It may come in the form of what formerly may have felt like conflict. However, now you're seeing it as, you know what, sometimes we have to have these conversations in order to actually move things forward. And I'm okay with that. Knight of Wands. The action that you take under this full moon in Aquarius, especially with these energies, the conversations you have, this like training ground energy, if you can step into it, it just feels like a lot is going to ignite. Things are going to start moving very quickly around you. And you're going to have this basis to trust yourself as you're in these conversations, as you're moving along. So Libra, including my sister, I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I'm sending you a lot of love. Good luck. Hello, hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. I'm just going to start shuffling. This is for Scorpio energy. I don't want to pull those cards. I just pulled those for Libra. Let's see. Scorpio, Scorpio. How do I love you? Let me count the ways. All right. Feels like this is going to be, yeah. Scorpio, you're being invited into a lot more self-love. And it's interesting because when I talk about self-love, it can sound like when we're being given these opportunities, it's not just like, hey, boo, love yourself. Why don't you go love yourself? Like it's not always this like butterflies fairy tale, like, oh, I'm the shit. I'm the bomb.com. Like, I'm just going to show up in my power. Like usually, not always, but usually we have, like when we step into like a deeper self-appreciation or a deeper flow of our emotions, or, you know, working something out, it's not because it just sounded like a good idea. It's not because our fan club showed up at the door and was like, hey, by the way, do you love yourself? Do you think you're awesome? No, it happens in these ways that challenge our perceptions. And so I'm not trying to make this scary at all, but Scorpio, you can rise to this because you are a sign that is deep in like, I am amazing. I know I am. And I have a magnetism and I know that. However, when we're being asked to step into deeper self-love, it's usually because something's coming up and challenging that. That's the message. So it feels like under this full moon in Aquarius, you may have people challenging, like, why do you think you're so great? Like, how do you get all this? Why should we back you? You're What's so special about you? And that it, instead of getting pulled down by, or it's almost like someone, it's like reverse psychology, or somebody like coming in and like challenging your self-perception, and you can either crumble and be like, oh, I'm the worst, they're right, I'm not that great, or you can pony up like Scorpio, Pink Pony Club, go listen to that song and rock out. But you can pony up like Scorpio and be like, because I'm amazing, because I know that. But it feels like there may be this tinge inside of like old, decrepit energy. It's like I'm seeing a vision of being in an old house and just like reaching out and touching like the wallpaper on the wall, like an old abandoned house. And it's just like the drywall, like the walls are like so rotted from, and like it's like you touch the wall and the wallpaper and the drywall itself like just crumbles into your hand. It feels like that, like someone's challenging the foundation of your house, who you are, your structure of your life. And, one way is that you can just crumble and be like, oh, I haven't maintained this. Another way is doing that same thing, seeing all this drywall and plaster and wallpaper coming off in your hand. I hope you're following along with this. This story has a point. And being like, oh, I didn't realize that was so flimsy. I didn't realize that I'd left this for so long. I've got to redo this whole thing and make sure that it's strong, and that anyone who comes knocking, or anyone who comes and tries to take my piece, or tries to, test the integrity of my foundation, well, they're met with strength, and they're met with something authentic to me. They're met with, having to change their perception, as opposed to you changing your perception of yourself. And I'm saying this because we have 10 of Cups and 6 of Cups. This is a lot of cups, baby. But that 6 of Cups can really bring me into what were the ways you were taught to feel about yourself? What were the things you were taught to value about yourself when you were small? How were you taught to express your emotions? How were you not taught to express your emotions? How were you deprived of that? Those kind of foundational things. And when you're really being called into, or being challenged about your self-love, some of those old insecurities or old beliefs that maybe don't jive with who you are now, they might come up. And so again, are you going to just put your head down and be like, I'm the worst? Or are you going to challenge that and be like, you know what, that's an outdated belief. It doesn't work for me anymore. 9 of Pentacles, Judgment, 7 of Cups. Feels like you're going to be given a lot of choices about who you want to be, how you want to reinvent yourself, how you want to view yourself moving into this next cycle. And so this is not easy work, but it feels like it all leads, 9 of Pentacles, to feeling very resourced, feeling very supported, feeling very demure, feeling very mindful, feeling very cutesy. I don't know why that's all coming up, but feeling like you do have your finger on the pulse of your emotions, of your intuition, of who you are, of how amazing you are, of your self-perception, and where this is an opportunity to clear out some old programming, some old limitations. So I hope that's helpful, Scorpio. I'm sending you a lot of love, a lot of support, and I'll talk to you soon. Hello, hello, Sagittarius, my fellow Sagittarians. I'm a Sagittarius sun, so it's always so exciting to round the corner with the Sagittarius readings. Let's see what's coming up for you. I'm going to take a sip really fast. And let's see where we go. All right, we've got 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, King of Wands, Ace of Wands, and the Tower. All right. So I'm going to go through this. This full moon in Aquarius is really going to invite us into closing out some old cycles of limiting beliefs. And I'm talking about that because of this 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and the Tower. But this is like, you've been waiting, you've been asking for this. You've been trying to put all these threads together, braid them together into something, tangible, into something that excites you again, into something that, is worth pursuing for you, like learning a new skill or creating a new offering or going down a new path. but it's almost like these old limiting thoughts. What's possible for me? What can I do with what I currently have? It's reminding me, like, a couple weeks ago, because I do this every once in a while. I went on LinkedIn. I was like, let me see if I could find a job. If I needed a job, if I had to have a job, could I find one? Or is there something here that's, better or more aligned for what I'm doing in my life now than perhaps what I might have perceived before? And I find that to be a really fruitful exercise every once in a while, just to keep my feelers out there as a Sagittarius and say, like, I'm happy where I'm at now. I love where I'm at now, but is there something better? And if it's a clear no because there's nothing popping up, then that's a clear no. And if there's a yes, then maybe I entertain it for a little bit and just breathe new energy into my decision for how I'm living my life. And it just feels like a piece of that is what's coming up. Like, is there something better? Is there something more aligned for me? Is there something that I've been trying to pull together, but it just feels like it can't get off the ground, or I can't find that missing piece? And it's like, it's the beliefs that are holding you back. It's the beliefs that there's nothing better. It's reminding me of, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I think it was Postal Service. Back in the day, they wrote a song called Nothing Better, and that's popping in my head. I think it's them. Where it's like, do I have an idealistic view of what I'm currently doing? Or is that view coming from perhaps some wounding of, like, this is what I deserve, or this is what's possible for me at this point, because you don't see anything else? So it feels like this full moon in Aquarius is going to illuminate for you where there might be some old thought patterns that are just limiting your ability to dream, which is where you really come alive. Your ability to dream, philosophize, go after the new thing, even if that means learning a whole new language or learning a whole new study of something. You're usually like, yeah, I'll do that. If that's what it's going to take, I'll do it. Love the journey. But it almost feels like there's something stopping you from even stepping onto the journey right now. And it just feels like this full moon is going to, like, show that to you and be like, do you want to keep this? Do you want to keep working in these limitations? Do you want to keep working under these conditions? I don't want to work in these conditions. Like, do you want to keep working through this? Or are you just going to be able to say, like, you know what, that's not working for me. That no longer is true for me. And so I'm going to give my permission for that belief to just not exist anymore, or to not guide me anymore. Instead, I'm going to be adopting this belief. And with that, we have the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. And these are definitely cards that support you in particular on your journey, where it's like the new idea, the new spark, the new nourishment, and not only taking it and running with it, but using it with deep self-confidence, deep inner knowing, deep alignment. So this is not a passive energy for you, Sagittarius. And I know that you wouldn't really thrive with passive energy anyway. So I'm just saying that this full moon in Aquarius is asking you to be active. It's asking you to be discerning. It's asking you to give your permission for things to not continue the way that they have been, and to instead open up your perception to what really feels aligned for you, and to really, like, claim that. So I hope that's helpful, Sagittarius. Happy full moon. I'll talk to you soon. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your reading. Let's see what we've got for you. It's so funny because usually I switch the decks between the signs, and today I've just been, like, blazing through with this same tarot deck. So I'm excited to see how these energies are showing up so differently for every sign. But Capricorn, I hope that you've been having a wonderful season. We had your full month. I almost said full month. We had your full moon last season, and you really shook things up for us. So it's payback time. No, it's not payback time. But this is a time where we're really being asked to step deeper into what thoughts are actually grounding us, what thoughts are ringing true for us, what messaging, what ways are we associating with the people around us that are helpful, what are the ways that are holding us back. There's a lot of this questioning already coming up in my head when I'm tapping into your energy, Capricorn, so I'm just leaving that there. I also just saw this image of, I don't even know what kind of car it would be, but it's like something from the 50s where it's like one of those finned big cars. I don't know if it would be like a Chevy or a Buick, but it's a sedan and it's bright red and it's got like the white kind of chrome outlined stripe going down and it's got the fins on the taillights and then like the white walled tires. That car just came rolling into my head. I don't know if that's specific. That's really specific for somebody, but I don't know if that's for you. Um, but so under this full moon in Aquarius, we have. I just feel like I just got really disoriented. I've been blazing through these readings for an hour now, and I've felt like really, on the button, on the dial the whole time. And I just felt like I lost my place. So I don't know if you feel like and I just felt like some heartburn coming through, almost like you're trying to digest or swallow, like, this is where I'm at now, but it's almost like coming back up being like, but is it? Is this where you want to be? We've got the Knight of Cups coming in and saying, it's okay. Oh, I just got like a headache, almost like a pain in my ear. There's a lot of physical stuff happening. My head got itchy. It's like I'm really being called to pay attention to what's going on in my body all of a sudden. So I'm just going to say for you under this full moon in Aquarius, like, get some sleep, hydrate yourself, stay connected with the messaging coming from your body. If it's helpful for you, like if something comes up, if you're feeling something, there are different people who work with the energy of the body, like Louise Hay, for instance. You can Google Louise Hay, Hay, and then like, gallbladder or acid reflux or, itchy head, and just see what the energy of that could be. But there's something coming through about like the body is whispering to us all the time. The intuition's whispering to us all the time. And if we listen, we can get the message before it has to turn into something. But like if we're feeling pain or discomfort, or we have a flare up of something, or, suddenly everything feels like it's all going to pasture, it's usually because we've been ignoring the whispers. And so then it has to turn into a scream. And I'm just aware also that I've been holding this Knight of Cups up in the air the whole time I've been telling this little tale. And so the Knight of Cups is really inviting you in to like listen internally. Keep moving forward. Keep finding your place. Like, orient yourself. Find where you're at, of course. Find where you're at emotionally. We don't separate the body from the emotions here. Like, it's all interconnected, but like, be here now. And as you're here, you can listen in to the signals, the messages that are coming through. I also just did a figure 8. That's a symbol of strength, infinity, infinite possibilities, cycles. There's a lot of this, like sign, synchronicity, imagery coming through for you. So stay very attuned to the signs and synchronicities under this full moon, especially. But it just feels like tuning into the body, tuning into the emotions, tuning into the messages within you. It's going to really give you something to sink your teeth into and orient you. I'm here now. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm valuing. This is what I'm being asked to take notice of. We have the 10 of Cups. Feels like deep emotional fulfillment is on offer. So it may feel like you've dissociated from your body for a long time because you didn't want to go in there and feel some things. However, being in this energy and actually paying attention and listening feels like fine. You may come up against some things that are not like, roses and lollipops, but it's also deepening your capacity for joy and the full emotional experience. Ace of Wands, it feels like it sparks something in you, an offer comes in, but it requires that you are grounded in your intuition so you can know if that offer is a yes or a no. This, just because it's an offer, it doesn't mean that it's the right path for you. Bring up your discernment. 9 of Cups, it does feel like it's something really good that feels very nourishing. You have the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. This is the universe being like, you did it, kid. You got it. It's time to be, whether it's happy or in love or in the flow or in your intuition, trusting yourself. It just feels like there's this new depth coming up, and one that you're probably going to like. And 9 of Swords. We're waking up from the nightmare. We're closing out some old thought patterns, or like waking up and being like, I haven't thought of that terrible thing in like 24 hours. That's amazing. How can I shift my relationship with it? How am I being called to shift my awareness of it? So Capricorn, that feels super cryptic. I hope it helps though. Happy full moon. Hello, hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your full moon reading. I've been waiting all zodiac to get to y'all. So let's see what's coming up for Aquarius. Oh my goodness. This is not going to disappoint. Okay. Too many cards. It's these two. We're going to take them. Okay. And one more. So beautiful. This is what we've got going on. You have a Two of Cups and the Star coming out. Two of Cups to me is usually talking about a love match, like a match made in heaven, something you've been, and like this star brings me into like wish fulfillment, manifestation. So it feels like something you've been really hoping for as like a perfect match, or a really good partnership, or a really good mentor, someone who helps reveal to you, oh, I got chills all down my back. Someone who helps reveal to you how you are already walking around with a full cup, how you already have so much emotional intelligence. Aquarius part 2, emotional intelligence, connection with your intuition going on. And it feels like that's ready to come in if you're open to it. It feels like you've been saying for so long, like, I'm seeking peace, I'm seeking love, I'm seeking connection, I'm seeking fulfillment. And it feels like it's showing up under this full moon in Aquarius. And this is really that test of, have you done the inner work to notice it, to accept it, and to integrate, apply it in your life when it shows up? Or is this going to be another season of, I'm not ready yet, which is fine. Like, it's fine either way. But it feels like this is going to be deeply healing. Three of Swords, deeply healing for you, where you're being given the opportunity to really notice and feel how it feels. Grieve the lost time if you feel sadness, because when perfect alignment comes in, it can also bring up sadness, resentment, fatigue, all the things. You may suddenly become aware of how much energy you've been expending trying to make this work. So just taking notice, being with it, that's going to be huge under this full moon. And it feels like all that's going to be illuminated. We have the 10 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles. Feels like reimagining or restructuring the way that you've been earning, creating, manifesting money in your life, or abundance in some way. This can be a change of job. It can be a change of situation, but it feels like you really have to get clear and like really sign off on being able to leave the old way behind, because new abundance wants to come in. So it feels like there's this shift of energy between how you used to create money, how you used to create abundance, and how it's coming in now. We also have the 8 of Cups. So we have a walking away or a moving on from something. And so when I look at all these cards together, it's like there's this really beautiful balance coming through for you, where we're going to be moving on from a certain mindset, a certain way, a certain feeling, the way, like the channels through which money could find you. And we're also securing the bag with like new partnerships, new relationships, new things that you've been asking for that felt like they'd be fulfilling. And it's like almost like you've been praying or manifesting or asking for them for so long. And it's not like this full moon's just immediately like abracadabra, you got it. It's just that like the timing matched up. You've done enough of the work now, 3 of Swords. You've done enough of the work to be in a place where you can really see it when it happens, where you know, okay, this is my cue to leave some things behind, stop engaging in those conversations, stop engaging in these things that hold me back, and really open up the channel for deep joy, fulfillment, and like Aquarius time. So I hope that's helpful. I'm sending you a lot of love. And last but not least, we have Pisces. Welcome to your full moon in Aquarius reading, Pisces. Let's see what's in store for you. We've got fortune after difficulty coming up right off the bat. So Pisces, we've got Five of Wands and King of Wands coming out together, and it feels like the song from The Lion King, I just can't wait to be king. Also, my nose just got really itchy for the first time in this reading, and that's usually, I call it like my tarot nose. It's like when my intuition starts sparking off a lot, things in here get really itchy. So seeing this Five of Wands, King of Wands, it's like you might have felt like you were going through your paces for so long. Like you were really just like, oh, I'm being put through the ringer. I have to learn these lessons over and over again. What the F? I'm so tired of coming back to the same point. And now it's like mastery drops in, the King of Wands. It's like all of a sudden you see like, oh, all of that journey was leading me up to this moment, this time to shine. So it feels like there's a veil being pushed back for you, Pisces. Under this full moon in Aquarius, there's this new understanding of what it was all for. Listen to the Barbie soundtracks. A lot of songs for you, like the song What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. Like this type of energy of, I've been in the locker room, or I've been on the training pitch for so long that I forgot that I was actually training to be in the big leagues. And then it's like the offer comes in, or the request comes in, or the invitation to present comes in. And so just be ready for it. Like this is not a time to lick your wounds. This is a time to be like suited, booted, ready to go. So when the coach calls you off the bench, you can go straight into it. I don't know why it's all these sports metaphors, but it feels like you've been training for this. This is what you've been asking for, waiting for. This is the thing that you've been wanting for so long. We've got Six of Cups. It feels like the inner child might be coming up and being like, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm not sure if this is enough. I'm not sure if I'm enough. You are. It's not about leaving that child behind and being like, no, you can't come with me. It's about saying like, why don't you walk with me, but I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to be the adult, or I'm going to leave you here on the bench so you can watch me do exactly what I've been training for. I want you to enjoy this. You don't have to be the one who's making the field goal. You're not the one who has to run out on the pitch and perform. I'm doing it. It just feels like that's going to be really important, to show up for yourself, to show up for the fear, and not just be like, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like, feel the fear, listen to it, acknowledge it, parent it, talk to it, and then do it anyway. We've got the High Priestess and the Three of Wands coming in too. I love this energy. I love these two cards. I love them together, where it's like you can trust your wisdom and your intuition. You can trust what you've taught yourself. You can trust what you've learned, and you can trust that all the good things coming in are a result of all of that hard work, all of that training, it's not a fluke. This is a long-term thing, because you're not going to lose that wisdom. You're not going to lose the opportunity. You're not going to lose everything you've built, because this is you. I'm so excited for you, Pisces. Thank you so much for watching these readings. I am so excited for this full moon for all signs. It sounds like we've got a lot of growth, a lot of opportunities, a lot coming in. And like the overall message is like, see it and believe it. It's time. Sending you so much love, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.